It's impossible to live in India and to write about food and not be conscious of Chinese food, or at least what we call Chinese food. In every small restaurant, in every tiny part of India, even villages, you will find something that is described as Chinese food.
I eat chow mein. Chow mein noodles is really common.
Mancha soups and noodles are very popular.
Either chicken momos or chicken noodles.
And look at the food delivery apps. Chinese, Chinese, and Chinese. And pizza and Indian food, of course. So Chinese is popular, but why? I had to find out for myself. But first, get your munchies on because you're watching Taste Buds. The short answer is,
It tastes very good.
the long answer is far more complex. So Chinese migration to India started about 400 years ago, and the presence of the Chinese community in Kolkata and later on in the rest of India has greatly shaped Chinese food in India. But we'll revisit this in a later time. Let's look at what kicked off Chinese food's popularity. In the 1990s, the Indian economy experienced a huge boom after it underwent liberalization.
And all over the world, once a middle class has money, one of the first things they spend it on is on going out, eating out.
That's Veer Sanghvi. He's a columnist at one of India's leading newspapers, Hindustan Times, and writes a lot about food.
And Indians don't on the whole like French food. We like the Western, earthier flavors. So this kind of Chinese food fit the bill perfectly.
Okay, so Chinese food restaurants spread out at a time when the economy was thriving, but it had to taste good to become popular, right?
But one flavor we encounter very rarely in Indian food is umami.
Umami is one of the 5 basic tastes. It's how brothy a food tastes, which you can find in ripe tomatoes, cheese, and soy sauce.
Indians, in a sense, have fallen in love with soya sauce. So therefore, the Chinese food you get in India, whether it's called Cantonese or Peking or whatever, is almost always tomato and soya heavy.
Chinese restaurants also figured out the love for gravies, which are starchy sauces, and carbs.
When Indians go to Chinese restaurants, they almost always eat the food with rice. There must be lots of carbohydrates because Indians order noodles and rice.
And spices.
I think our palates are so used to flavors that come from spice and chili that we want food that's really heavy on the palate, that knocks us out. And last, try not to use authentic Chinese ingredients. Try not to use Sichuan pepper. Try not to use anything that might make Indians uncomfortable.
Cooking Chinese food without authentic Chinese ingredients? With that as the criteria, you get dishes like this. The Veg Manchurian, a salty and peppery thick gravy with chunks of fried vegetable balls. We made some Chinese people try it.
Has a lot of different spices in it.
I would say that spicy food is not actually, it's never been my favorite, but this one kind of melts together kind of nicely though.
我觉得就是烧烤酱。
它应该里面有肉吗？还是素的？
It reminds me of octopus balls from Japan, but it's more like soybean sauce with very thick taste.
They didn't really associate it with Chinese food, and in Delhi,
I went to China in July. I was there on a work trip and I just could not find dim sums and fried rice and Manchurian very, very easily. So they have this concept of big pot, you put everything in, and then a lot of it is actually raw. So you have raw meat, everything raw, and then you put it inside. And I think that concept of Chinese food, Indians are not very used to.
and so this woman from Delhi isn't into Chinese food from China. How did Chinese food evolve so much after it reached India? What's so different about it? To find out, you'll have to wait until next week. Make sure you follow Taste Buds so you won't miss our next video.